Okay, so again, factored form equal to 0. This first question is in factored form. If two things are multiplied together and the answer is 0, as Will told us, one of them has to be 0. So you're trying to figure out what makes it 0. So either x minus 3 is 0 or x plus 8 is 0. So one of the two things that I'm multiplying is equal to 0. You can actually take some notes down, guys. Let's go. Come on. And then we take those two equations and we solve them like we did, I don't know, 2 units ago. Add 3. So x is 3. And subtract 8. And x is negative 8. So those are my two solutions. Positive 3 and negative 8. All right, same thing on this next question. It's factored and equal to 0. That's what we want it to look like.
So
yes.
would your answer be x equals 3, x equals negative 8?
Yep.
Okay.
So again, two things multiply to get 0, which means one of them needs to be 0. So either x plus 5 equals 0 or 2x plus 1 equals 0. So one of those two factors are just things you're multiplying, has to be 0. And then we solve each one of these, like again, that we did 2 units ago. Get x alone, subtract 5. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. And on my other one, subtract 1. So 2x equals negative 1. And divide by 2. And x equals negative 1/2. Don't be alarmed if you have lots of answers that are fractions, because it's probably going to happen.
Wait, hold on. Can we redo the 2x one?
Do you say that again?
The 2x one? I'm confused right now.
You're solving for x, so you minus the 1. So 2x cancels out, equals negative 1. And then divide by 2. And I get negative 1/2. I'm going to show you at the end a shortcut. And if you really, really get it, you can use the shortcut. If you don't get it, don't use the shortcut. We'll talk about that later, though. All right, so this one is factored and equal to 0. So we're ready to go. This times this equals 0, which means, again, one of them, either 4x plus 3, has to be 0, or 5x minus 2 has to be 0. And then we solve them, again, like we did way back in Unit 2. Solve for x, so subtract 3. 4x cancels, equals negative 3, and divide by 4. And I have negative 3/4. You should never have to reduce that. What you get when you divide should be your answer. On the other one, I'm going to add 2. So I have 5x cancels, equals 2, and then divide by 5. And x is 2/5. Okay, a question so far. Okay, so this next question is where your factoring comes into play. Those three examples were all factored for you. This is why we learn factoring, because you have to know how to factor to get it into that form. I believe that all of the ones I'm giving you, yes, it's true, are already equal to 0, so you won't have to worry about that. So we're gonna go factor. I have my 3 terms, so I'm gonna go to my parentheses. So x squared breaks to x times x. Minus at the end, what does that mean my signs are?
Positive, negative.
Positive and negative. And then I gotta get 8. So what is a good pair that multiplies to give me 8?
2 times 4.
And it's gonna help me get -2 in the middle. Okay, so I went -2 in the middle. So which one gets the negative? The 4. So remember, that's our shortcut kind. So those 2 numbers right there that we picked to get 8 should also add to give me that. Okay? Then I'm ready to get my answers. So either x plus 2 is 0 or x minus 4 is 0. And I solve. Get x by itself, so subtract 2. So x, 0 minus 2 is -2. And on the other one, add 4. X equals 4.
So basically, you just flip-flop them around with positive and negative. That's it.
It's always going to change the sign.
Okay, that's it.
Unless you have to do a division, which we didn't have to do on this one. Like that previous question, I had to do a division as well.
Okay.
Which is where I'm going to show you a shortcut.
So
at
if
the
it has
end.
x in front of it, like no numbers
Yep.
within parentheses, then it would just flip-flop.
Mhm.
That's simple.
That's the shortcut I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you the division one too, with the fraction. You'll see in a minute.
So.
Okay, 2 terms. How do we factor 2 terms? What do I get for x squared?
2 times
2 times 2. So this is my difference of squares. And for 49,
9 times 5.
Same number.
7
Wait, 7 times.
7 and 7.
My bad.
And my
I don't know why
signs
I
are
did that.
always
I don't know why I
plus
did
and
that.
minus.
Ignore that.
So 2 terms is my difference of squares.
No, because for some reason I was thinking 5 times 9. I don't know why. 'Cause that's all the
So either, once I factor, either 2x plus 7 is 0
That's not bad.
or 2x minus 7 is 0. So both the parentheses, you set each parenthesis equal to 0 and then you solve it. So subtract your 7. So 2x equals -7 and divide by 2. And it just stays that fraction, -7 over 2. And on the other one, I'm going to add 7. So 2x equals +7. Divide by 2, and x is +7 halves. Or 7 over 2.
So for that one, wouldn't it be 4 or 49 divided by 4, and that equals 7? Or
No, when you're factoring just a 2 term, you're taking the square root. You're asking yourself, what 2 numbers that are the same give me 49? So it's always going to be the same number, 7 and 7.
okay.
So that's when there are 2 terms to
Yeah.
factor. Do I have another one of those? I do, I'll get to another one of those. So when it's a two-term polynomial, it's always looking for the square root every time. Same first terms, same last terms, plus and minus. All right, for this one here. First is x squared, my only choice is x and x. Minus at the end means one of each sign. And then what pair of numbers gives me 12?
3 and 4.
That's gonna give me positive 1 in the middle, 3 and 4. Which one is the plus?
Then 3, 4, 4.
Positive 1, so it's positive 4 and minus 3. So that and that should give me that. Then, either x plus 4 is 0 or x minus 3 is 0. And I solve. So subtract 4. So negative 4. And on the other one, add 3. And 0 and 3 is 3.
Can you? This looks like the signs flip.
For the answers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yes.
do I have to do this?
So if it's a positive number, the biggest number goes with the plus, and if it's a negative number, the biggest number goes with the minus.
Correct. When there's no number right here,
But if there is a number there,
then you gotta do outer in.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Since the signs just flip, do we have to do all the steps?
Well, that's what let me finish with the long way here, and then I'm gonna show you the shortcut.
Okay.
I'm hoping you don't have to do it. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want you to have to show that if you don't need to. Okay?
End up knowing the shortcut and not the long way.
Dude, that was a mistake.
So yeah, I will show you the shortcut,
I know 5 times 9.
and if you know it, I want you to use it.
5 times 9. What is 4?
Okay, so we're gonna factor x times x. What are my signs gonna be?
positives.
Positive positives. And then what two numbers give me 15? Which will give me 8 in the middle.
3 and 5.
3 and 5.
And again, two things that multiply to give me 0. So either x plus 3 is 0 or x plus 5 is 0. And we solve. So subtract your 3.
Just
So negative 3. And subtract your 5. Bless you, whoever sneezed. Negative 5. All right, this one we gotta do that trial and error. Okay, what are my options for 2?
1 times 2.
1 and 2. So then Landon, that's that 1x and 2x. So there's gotta be an x on each one. Minus at the end means one of each. And then my only option for 5 is 1 and 5. Does it work? Let's check it. Outer times outer is negative 5. Inner times inner is positive 2. When I add these together, I get negative 3.
So you just switch your signs.
So you just switch your
But
signs.
since they flip when you do it,
So we're gonna make that one the minus and this one the plus.
Minus 9.
Yep,
Since they flip when you do the equation, that would even matter.
What?
say it again.
Like, you know, they flip, like,
The signs you mean?
yeah, the signs flip, so what do you mean? Never mind. I'm confusing myself.
Okay, so we set each one equal to 0. And we solve. So here we're gonna add 1. So x equals 1. And then here we're going to use subtract 5 and divide by 2. So positive 1, negative 5 halves. Question on that one. The factoring part, the first step is what you just got the assessment back on today.
I didn't do too good.
Wait, hold up, wait.
63?
Yeah, I was a
It
little
is.
confused.
Okay, what are my options for 12?
1 and 12.
2 and 6.
And then what's always a good pair? Remember I told you a good pair to go? An odd and even pair. 4x and 3x. Minus at the end means one of each side. Options for 6.
2 and 3.
2 and 3, but we can't put 3 and 3 together.
For real.
Hunter, take your earplugs out. AirPods. Earbuds. Earbuds. AirPods?
AirPods.
AirPods. Oh my gosh.
You got it this time.
Thank you. Took me a while there. I know what they're called. I have some. Okay, outers are negative 8.
Airplugs.
Inners, yeah. Inners are positive 9. And that's a positive 1. What do I need to do?
Switch your sides.
Switch your signs.
What? Weekend. Since Snyder can see earplugs.
Earplugs I don't have. I might need them though. Okay, so set my factors equal to 0. After this next problem, I'm going to show you the shortcut. If you can use it. So I'm going to add 3. So 4x equals 3. Divide by 4.
Oh, we're not done.
If this is the part you're having trouble with, then this goes way back. Way back.
I got this now. This is
So far back that I forgot.
Don't forget everything. We got a final exam with everything on it.
That seems.
Subtract 2,
Go over your old homework.
The unit 3 test, really, or whatever it was.
negative 2, divide 3.
Two.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one more. And then I'm gonna show you a shortcut. Okay, so 2 terms, when we're working with 2 terms, remember that's even easier. 25x squared is what?
5.
5 and 5.
Almost.
64 is,
9 and
9 times 9 is 81.
8 times 8.
8 times 8,
Your second.
plus and minus. So when there's the 2 terms, the factors are the same. All right, so either 5x plus 8 equals 0, or 5x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, Jacob, I'm gonna solve this one on the left. What do I do first?
Your 5x, so minus 5, or
Minus
8.
Minus 8. Leave the x there.
And you got minus 8 on the other side. Alright, 5x
So then
equals
0.
negative 8.
Negative 8, and then
And then divide by 5.
divide by 5. So negative 8 fifths. There's never going to be more than 2 steps. And on the other one, I'm going to add 8.
Oh, are you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So always the opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
Equals 8,
No.
and then divide by 5. And x is 8 over 5.
Oh, and if you add those, it's 0.
Okay, So here's the shortcut. Now, some of you have already caught part of the shortcut, okay? First of all, when you look at the parentheses, the answer is always the opposite sign. You've caught that,
Yeah, that's
okay?
simple.
So when it says minus here, that answer came out positive. When this was positive, that answer came out minus, okay? In fact, when there wasn't any numbers in front of x, you knew exactly what to do. So you knew that this answer would be -3, and this answer would be -5.
It looks like when it's in front, with you got, like, can you show that? Okay.
Yep.
It looks like when you got, like, a regular division, it looks like, can you go down, because he's gonna explain this down.
Last one we did.
See, like, that one, it looks like you just flip flop them, the 8 on top and.
You do.
on bottom.
Okay, so that's my shortcut. Watch it so that you can, if you know this shortcut, you can eliminate all of this stuff. So you can eliminate all of this. You wouldn't have to write any of that piece of it, okay? I don't know what all the whispering and talking and all that is going on, but stop, please. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this shortcut. You ready? It's always gonna be the opposite sign and then number on the right over number on the left. So positive 3/4. Negative 2/3.
It's always the.
Negative 8/5. Positive 8/5. Positive 1/1, which is 1. Negative 5/2. So I can use that shortcut anytime I want. And I don't have to show all of that work. I still gotta factor it. Okay, so on this question, let's do one with the shortcut and try it. Maggie, what are my only options for 7? Say it again. And 1 and 7. Emmeline, what are my signs gonna be?
Positive and negative. No, just positive.
Okay, positive and positive. Jace, what is my last numbers pair gonna be? To get my 3. Yep. Okay, I tested out. Outer times outer is 1. Inner times inner is 21. Add those together, I get my 22. So I know I'm right. Now, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's get our answers without writing the work. Let's see if we can do it. First parentheses is gonna give me what? -3/1 or just -3.
Is it 1x or is it just 1?
There's no x's in it.
Alright.
And what's the other answer gonna be?
-1.
Negative?
You always said.
-1/7. So I don't have to show the solving work if I know that shortcut. If I know that shortcut, all I have to do is factor it and get to the answers. Okay? One more we're gonna try that shortcut with. Landon, what are my options for 6?
2 and 3.
Okay, I like that best, so let's try that first.
Isn't it supposed to have, is it better to have like an even and a negative?
Yeah,
So we're pretty much doing what we learned.
yeah, oh yeah, you're doing, that's why we learn to factor, so we can learn to solve an equation with a power. I mean, that's what factoring is used for.
Good thing I understand it.
Yeah.
Partially. Don't you
Maddie, what are my signs gonna be? Both minuses.
Worst part about math is it just gets harder.
Will, what are my options for 5?
1 and 5.
So I thought it's easier than this.
Okay, let's test it. Outer times outer, 2 times -1. Inner times inner, Negative 5 times 3, negative 17, so that doesn't work. So we're gonna flip that.
What is that?
Outer times outer, negative 10. Inner, negative 3, negative 13. So that's right now. Okay, using my shortcut, my two answers are what?
Positive 1 over 2
Positive 1 over 2,
and positive 5 over 3.
positive 5 over 3.
Where do you get someone else, Jane?
Does anybody want me to explain again the shortcut so you don't have to solve it?
Yes.
So you always change the sign to the opposite, and then you go the number on the right over the number on the left. So positive 1 over 2, positive 5 over 3.
Oh.
Now again, this is all I'm doing. I'm going to show you real quick, the long way again. I add 5. That's why we do the opposite sign, but a lot of you caught that like immediately. So 3x, 0 plus 5, and then we put the 3 on the bottom because we're dividing by what's with the x. So I don't have to show any of that if I can use the shortcut.